Fresh turmoil for Democrats today after Michael Bloomberg's national debut on the debate stage went bust. The next debate comes up Tuesday in South Carolina, just days before the first in the South primary. So what will it take for him to flip the script and bounce back from a dismal first appearance? Ari Fleischer, of course, is former White House press secretary, Fox News contributor, and he's been through a campaign or two. Ari, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm not sure anybody was expecting, there were some people trying to lower expectations. He didn't really have much competition as New York City mayor, didn't do that great in debates, but there was a wide assumption that was obviously wrong, that he was going to prepare and be ready for some obvious attacks. What went wrong?
I think that two things went wrong for the mayor. Number one, and I've seen this in a lot of smart people before, they say, I got this, I got this. I've been the mayor of a really tough city. I deal with the nation's most hostile press corps. I've got tough, obnoxious opponents. I'm ready. And they fool themselves because you're not ready for a presidential debate until you've actually been in one. The second is he doesn't take questions at town hall meetings. All the other candidates are out there getting a regular barrage of questions from citizens. It sharpens you up. It makes you think things through. It shows you your vulnerabilities, and you have to perform over time and get better over time. He doesn't do that. He doesn't take questions, so he stopped taking batting practice. He never took batting practice, and he hit himself with his own pitch.
So what does he need to do to fix it Tuesday?
He needs to shine. He needs to be articulate. He needs to come out on the offensive. He needs to show why he is different from Bernie, why he's different from all the others. What are his ideas that differentiate him as a Democrat to lead America? And then he's got to play better defense. When he's attacked over non-disclosures, when he's attacked over stop and frisk, what are his answers? And that's where he was just woefully unprepared. One final little point, Ed, look your opponents in the eye. I mean, Mayor Bloomberg just looked off into the distance. He looked imperious above it all as his opponents looked him in the eye. You look weak if you can't look someone in the eye.
Also maybe dismissive as a billionaire, that you're not even bother engaging them directly. You also bring us to another important point when you say differentiate yourself from the others on the stage. He did, in fairness, try to do that on capitalism versus socialism and take that directly to Bernie Sanders. But Kim Strassel puts her finger on something interesting in the Wall Street Journal this morning. She says this field is not lacking in progressives. It's lacking courage. If Mr. Bloomberg wants voters to rally around him, he needs to give them a reason, not an echo. The point being that on a whole bunch of issues, he's trying to play in the moderate lane, but he's moving left, further and further left on Wall Street reform and other things where he used to be more centrist. So he's not showing courage, she says.
Yeah, it's a great column and a great point. Mike Bloomberg, if he had stuck to really being a true conservative fiscal Democrat, I think he could have opened up a real differentiation with Bernie Sanders that would have done well in a Democratic primary, too. But he didn't. He did what Joe Biden did. He abandoned previous positions that were deeply held. Why? Because of the fear of the liberal socialist wing inside the Democratic Party. So it is possible his apologies and his taking back previous positions is going to put him out of place in the Democratic primary because it's not credible.
Yeah.
And that's, you can't fix. He's already apologized for stop and frisk. He can't say, look, I'm proud of the fact that I cracked down on crime. Crime was a huge problem in New York, and the people who I protected the most were Hispanic and black. I'm proud of what I did. If he had done that, he'd be unique in the Democratic Party. Now, the only thing that's unique about him is his money.
Yeah. Well, a final point here, Ari, there's another dilemma for Michael Bloomberg that's at the center of this race, which is that his campaign put out that memo this week trying to sound the alarm bells that if you look at the math, after Super Tuesday, Bernie Sanders could have an insurmountable delegate lead. But on the other hand, they're now lobbying other so-called moderates to win them over, but that may just anger these camps even more. Politico has the story. Bloomberg quietly plotting brokered convention strategy, a backstop here to block Bernie Sanders by poaching supporters from Joe Biden and other moderates. Quote, it's a presumptuous play for a candidate who has not yet won a delegate or even appeared on a ballot. And it could also bring havoc to the convention, raising the prospect of party insiders delivering the nomination to a billionaire over a progressive populist. Obviously, the specter of taking it away, stealing it from Bernie Sanders again, at least the perception. But also, how can a Bloomberg supporter go to the Biden folks and say, hey, you ought to come over to us when they skipped the first few contests and Biden's been out there slugging it out for a few months?
Well, let's just state the facts. If they get to the convention and no one has 50%, there will be havoc at the convention. And everybody's going to try to be poaching everybody's delegates. So I've got no quarrel with that. I mean, I think that's a sound strategy. I think one of the things Bloomberg has always thought was if Biden collapses, Bloomberg wanted to be the alternative and then maybe settle it at the convention. And don't forget, there will be an element of Democrats who say Bloomberg's money can save us. So they might hold their nose at some of Bloomberg's positions and maneuverings, but they sure do like his money.
No doubt about it. Ari Fleischer, we appreciate you coming in. Have a good weekend.